What makes you feel good? What floats your boat and makes your steps lighter? What puts a smile on your face without fail and make even your hump day blues disappear? Well, those are the kind of positive ideas we want to focus on because from this point and on, it's good vibes only. On Good Vibes Only, we invite some good people into the studio to talk about good things only. And that is whatever makes us feel happy, whether it's foods, moods, hoods, or goods. And today's good person with the good vibes is media personality, educator, model, influencer, and supermom Olivia.
Hi!
Welcome!
That was a long introduction.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that was all that.
Titles. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Thanks for being here.
Yes.
Well, could you start by introducing yourself to our global listeners?
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all. My name is Olivia Ih. I'm half French, half Korean, and I've been living in Korea for the past 14 years. And I have 3 children and a Korean husband. Yes, already.
Wow.
Time flies.
Time flies.
Yes, absolutely.
Wait, then what year was that?
That was in 2010.
2010. Yeah. Ooh, that's when I had my debut. So,
oh.
wow, that's been 14 years already.
Wow,
Ooh.
congratulations to you.
And now I'm a mom of 2.
Yes.
1 coming soon.
Yeah.
Well, so I hear you just came back from France.
Yeah.
And you're still a bit jet lagged.
Yeah, completely jet lagged. But I'm very happy to be here. I was in France for the Olympics. Mm-hmm. Yes, it was the Olympics. So I came back a few days ago. And I was there with my family, so my husband and my children. My parents were there too, and my brother from the United States with his spouse and his children. So it was like a big family gathering.
Must have been.
Yes, it was really fantastic.
So you were there for work?
I was there mostly was vacation, and then towards the end for the Paralympics, I had to work for the Team Korea.
I see.
Yes.
So which part of France are you from?
So I was born and raised in Paris.
Wow.
So I lived there about 20 years.
Wow.
And then after I traveled the world, so I was in Asia, essentially in China first, and then in Korea. So I moved to Korea after I stayed in China for about 3 years. I was studying there. And then my brother...
That's when you learned Chinese?
Yes, that's when I learned Chinese. My brother was living in South Korea, so I came to visit him, and then I also fell in love with Korea, and I was like, I want to stay here.
Wow.
And then, the rest of the story is just, I met my husband, decided to move, here for the long term, and then the children were born here.
Wow, well, I am so excited to chat more with you.
Yes, that was a long introduction for myself. But let's delve into it.
Let's dive into it. So you speak French, Korean, English, Chinese, and Spanish. That's 5 languages.
That's right. Well, there are certain languages that I don't use as much as, I use Korean and English.
Yeah.
So the main language that I would use daily is French, English, and Korean. These are the 3 main languages. Chinese from time to time. I have my coworker who is Chinese, so sometimes we kind of chit-chat in Chinese.
Oh, that's nice.
And Spanish, actually, I haven't had the opportunity that much to speak in Chinese, in Spanish since I'm in Korea. Yeah, I have to make some more Hispanic friends.
Yeah, it's important to keep using the language or else it gets rotten, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And I do speak some French, not French, I mean Chinese. I mean Chinese, but I don't, but nobody around me speaks Chinese, so I feel like I'm forgetting the language. So it's nice that you have a coworker who you can speak with.
Yeah, actually, that's really
really
great,
nice.
If you want to continue and practice your language skill, it's really important to be in that environment.
Absolutely. Yes. And if you had to pick up another language, is there one that you would be interested in learning?
Another one, a new one.
I will learn
maybe
French.
Arabic.
Yeah,
maybe Arabic would be.
That's challenging.
Yeah, because it's very challenging, and it's totally upside down. It's not we write from right to left, and so maybe I would be interested in learning Arabic. Yeah.
Wow.
Who knows? Maybe next time I'll be on the show like, I speak Arabic too now.
Wow.
Yeah. How about you? If you had to pick another, French would be...
I tried learning French as a second language. That didn't work out. And Japanese, French or Japanese?
Yeah. French, the pronunciation is quite challenging when you learn it, when you're older. This is why I put my children to the French school, just so that they can pick up, the right pronunciation and the grammar and the writing, because it's a very tough language. It's a very difficult language to learn, yes.
Especially if you're living in Korea.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
It's
because you may
uneasy.
speak, I speak French. French is my native language, but I'm not always there with them, So actually their mother tongue was more Korean than French at first. So they started with Korean at the 어린이집, daycare center, and then I moved them, when they were about 5 years old.
So starting
to the
from
French,
kindergarten.
the last year of kindergarten, basically, right, entering primary school. And now, funny thing is, now they speak French at home between them. I mean, the two older, the two. I have 3 children. The first one is 8, 6, and 3 years old.
8, 6, and 3.
Yeah,
Perfect age gap.
Yeah, it is. It is actually. It's quite manageable.
Do they get along well?
Yeah, they
all
do
3
get
of them.
along.
That's nice.
They get
That's
along.
good.
So the 2 older, they speak in French together, and the youngest one is still at 어린이집, so she only speaks Korean.
Wait, so you have 1 girl and 2?
I have 1 boy.
One
the eldest,
boy?
is a boy, and then 2 girls.
1 boy and
Yeah.
2 girls.
2 girls.
Wow, I'm so jealous.
You're gonna have another. You're gonna have a baby boy.
I'm having.
Yeah, already have 1 boy.
One boy and
having-
another boy coming.
Gonna have a third one. Is gonna be a baby girl, maybe.
Probably not, because I don't want another boy.
Oh, you know what?
Like 3 boys.
Oh, yeah, that's also.
Yeah, you never know. So,
True.
Yeah, I don't
맞아요.
Well, all right. Well, we're going to take a quick song break before we come back to chat some more. And as usual, we've asked our guests to pick some songs for us. And the first song we're going to listen to from Olivia's playlist is Lovely, Lovely by Angmyu. We just heard Lovely by Angmyu. All right, let's take a look at some of the questions and comments from our listeners. By the way, that was a great song,
Yeah.
Lovely. I didn't know when I saw the title, but after listening to it, I
And the
noticed.
spelling is lovely, L-E-E.
Yeah, they're so creative.
Yeah, I
And
love them.
And I love your playlist for today. I
Oh.
can't wait to play it for our listeners later.
Yes, me
Well,
too.
going back to the comments, they're saying hello in many different languages.
Hi, tell Sabrina. Then I see Taipei, Vern. Yes,
Esther
Vera
Sabrina
Cruz.
Co says, oh,
Bienvenue,
Bienvenue,
Olivia.
Olivia.
Enchantée. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Merci pour le message.
Thanks.
And then below we have, hello, Olivia. Oh, she's pretty. Thank you so much. Bonjour, ni hao.
Ni hao, Taipei word. And Benjamin Vera Cruz says, hi, Olivia. Great to meet you today. Love your bubbly personality and great energy. Please enjoy the show today.
Will do for sure.
Toyangi asks, hello, Olivia. What is your first language and what would you say is the best strategy for learning a new language? And do you have different strategy for different languages?
That's a very good question. I would say the earlier the better, actually.
Oh, I agree.
So my first
100%,
language
yeah.
is French. Then I would say Korean. I learned Korean at home. So my father used to speak to us in Korean, but we would reply in French. And I really learned Korean when I came to Korea. I wanted to pursue a PhD in international relations. So I got a scholarship from the Korean government. And at that time, it was mandatory to do an intensive Korean course. So for about, I think, a year or 2, you had to reach topic level 5 or 6 to be able to start your degree.
Wow.
So that really pushed me really hard to, learn the language, daily, and being very structured and very motivated to learn, every day. You have to be very consistent in when you want to learn a language, doing like 3 days of like grammar, whatever, and then, stopping for a few weeks and doing it again. That's actually, it's not a good strategy. So
Yeah.
you have to be very strategic in that sense. You have to sit down and open your book at first, okay? Open your book, and then the next step is go out and meet people. This is really what I did. So the first 2 years of my Chinese, when I learned Chinese, I was mostly in the class at the beginning, so learning the basics like grammar, the writing, the spelling, how to pronounce, the characters per se. And then after 2 years, I decided to move to China and really, meet people, go out there. And I was always in the Chinese local markets.
Wow.
I used to love, traveling. And I would go and just talk to random people. And
That's the best way to
actually
learn
the way I really learned. And I could check on my grammar. I could check on if I did learn properly all the vegetables and all the, the fruits. And so that was my way. But there's so many different other ways, to do it. But in Korea, I think that we mostly learn really much based on books, and we pass exam. You just have to check, the answers. In France, it's quite different because you have to basically write an essay or dissertation on something. So you have to have your writing on point.
That's tough.
So learning to do, like a daily notes like we do in Korean, the 일기 같은 거, that really actually helps and you can ask your teacher to, review or those kind of thing. Yeah, I'm very always willing with my student, if they do something, I can review their work and give them feedbacks and
wow,
do that. Yes.
that's an amazing advice. And
for you. For the next French, when you're going to learn French, you have to do that.
Ooh,
Come
I'll
to see me,
keep
we
that
can
in
be
mind.
able to speak in French.
Which part of China did you
So I was in
live
Beijing Normal University. And then I was in the south of Beijing, so in the region called Shanxi, Shanxi province, where I taught at university actually for a year. So that was the beginning of my career. I was 23. And even just being interacting with the students, I mean, they were almost my age, they were like in their late, 19, 20s. So they were like kind of friends. And because I was the only foreign professor at that time, I used to live in one of those dorms. So they used to be in one dorm, you can fit 6 students. But I used to have one dorm for myself. This is how they accommodated me. And I used to be in the corridors and chit chat with them. And that's how actually I improved even better my Chinese by teaching and learning from them.
So it's not always about textbook,
but absolutely
daily
not. Especially if you, in this era of globalization and social media, it's all about communication, how you, talk with people. And so, I mean, writing and everything is very important, but now with, ChatGPT and AI, you have all your spelling right, and it's you don't have to do the corrections all the time.
Exactly.
So that's a help too.
All right, and listeners send so messages. Wow, I'm so excited to see Olivia on Wonder Hours. I heard that Olivia has a diverse career path, and I want to know what her 장래희망, childhood dream, used to be when she was younger. And also, since she is so multilingual, I'm curious which language she communicates in with her cute kids. Supermom Olivia and Hyerim 둘 다 응원해요.
감사합니다. 네. So I communicate mainly in French now. But as I said before, they used to speak only in Korean. So the main language was Korean at home. And then at a certain point when they started entering primary school, then they picked up the language. So I was comfortable enough to speak to them in French.
Wow.
So now they speak both at home. We kind of mix both at home.
So it happened naturally.
Naturally, yeah,
That's
naturally.
So
but
amazing.
we didn't start. From the beginning, I didn't start talking to them only in French and my husband only in English, which, it's usually kind of what we suggest or what we recommend for, multicultural couples to do just one language and don't, mix all the languages at the same time.
Yeah.
But I'm quite positive that that's also a good option too, because the kid might talk later. It might take time, to process all the languages. But at one point, he will know exactly that, this is French and this is Korean, or this is English and this is another language.
I agree.
So
and like you
there
said,
are different
the earlier, the
theories
better.
on that. Like either you speak only one language to a certain age, or either you mix the two. I don't know if there is, a right answer to that. But it's always good to give them the opportunity to be in an environment where they can speak different languages.
I absolutely agree. And that's why with my child as well, the whole background, everybody, his whole environment is Korean.
Yes.
So there's no way for him to learn English really.
Yeah,
so
yes, yeah.
I try to use English as much as
as much as you can, as much as possible. Yeah, he should mingle with, like friends with who he can speak in English.
Right, and he's actually picking it up quite quickly.
Because he heard it from you, when you work, when you're on the phone. And my youngest one, I think she's the one who's going to pick up the language, super fast. Because first she hears her brother and her sister speaking in French. So for her, it's going to be much easier, I think.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they say the younger when
I don't even worry, like she will pick it up. And the other question, right a little bit above, I don't remember. So that's the two language I speak. 조금 더 위로.
장래희망. Yeah, the childhood dream. It's a good question.
Actually, that's interesting because I got the same question in France. I had like a meeting with, some like a small fan meeting in Paris before coming, and I had a very similar question. It's like, what would you say to Olivia when she was a child, and did she pursue her dreams? And funny thing is that I did do everything I wanted to do. I mean, I have other projects and other visions and goals. But I always wanted to work in media, and that's what I did when I came to Korea because I started working with Arirang.
That was
TV.
Your first
That was my first.
in Korea?
That was I started. I did an internship, and then it happened that I was working for the TV production, and then radio. Later on, radio, and I had the opportunity to work for food TV, so different other channels, and be on panel discussions. After I entered the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it kind of shifted into a different direction because it was much more based on history, culture, education contents more than like entertaining contents. So that was actually a nice shift in a sense that I didn't see myself pursuing this career, like the TV and like forever because I realized that was like, oh, maybe in 10 or 15 years, I won't be here anyways. So I should prepare myself to be or to make a way towards another direction I can develop and, which could please me in some ways. And that was education and teaching. So that's kind of how I paved the way. And this is why I went back and studied. Because I realized that was not enough. Just speaking the language was not enough. I had a master's degree, but it was in Chinese linguistics.
Wow.
And so I did do a degree for French, teaching French to foreigners. So I was like, okay, maybe this is what I have to dig into a little bit more. Wow. So yeah, and I realized that actually now I can do TV at the same time while having my stable job at the same time. So it's quite challenging because you have to put different hats,
exactly.
At different times.
How do you balance all of that when you're raising 3 kids?
Yeah, it's not easy, but I think when you have the will, you always manage. You always, find the time to be here. Like today, you always manage. You make some time in your, agenda to be where you want to be and what you want to do. I think that's very important. Yes.
Wow, just hearing from you, your side of the story is so inspirational.
Oh, really? Yeah. Wish I can inspire a lot of people out there.
And Mwa846 messages, oh wow, Olivia, I wonder how different all 3 of your children are and how you adjust your parenting accordingly. Also, how do you have the energy to raise your children, work, and live life to the fullest?
Yes. Okay.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Moi. So moi means me in French, or moi. It depends how you want to, interpret it. Thank you for the question. So how are they all different? Well, the first pregnancy, we're very not very calm, I would say, but we tend to really take care of the baby. I did a lot of yoga. I all did, I think, maybe 350 hours of yoga,
wow.
Just that year where I was pregnant. So interestingly, my son is super calm. I don't know if it's, it has something related, to what we call taegyo, or, the pregnancy and the relation with the mother and the baby. But he is super calm, and I mean, he won't get that angry unless you push the boundaries very far. So the second one, she's a girl, and I was super busy. That was like when my career was peaking, you know, it was peaking, and I really was focusing on work rather than the baby. So she just grew up naturally in my womb. I didn't do much, you know, not that much yoga, and I could feel it. I think I can feel the energy is very different. So he's much on the calm side, and she's much like super active. And I was actually very active when I was pregnant with my second. And the third one is a mix of two. She likes reading books at the same time and doing sports. So she's really like a mix of the two first, I think.
태교 must be a real thing.
Yeah, I think it does have an impact. It does have a certain impact, yes.
Me too.
So what are you doing now for your second pregnancy? Are you doing a certain, you know, like 태교 for your baby?
With my first child, because it was my first child, I had a lot of time for myself, so I could really concentrate on 태교ing, right?
True. Yes,
and always focusing on my child.
Listening to good music.
And good
eating good food.
Exactly,
and,
to really take care of myself. With my second baby, because I'm raising my first child, it's so busy.
It's hectic. It's very hectic.
So I feel like
you're less calm, you're less down. Yeah, true.
Yeah, I feel you.
And but it's so natural. I think any woman who have two children or even three, they would say that the first one, you know, we're very caring, and the second one is like we already have the first one we have to take care of.
Exactly.
So it's kind of pretty challenging. Yes. Right. And as an educator, so my parenting philosophy, I would say, I don't know if it's all completely related to parenting, but I would say it's a philosophy in general. I think we have to pursue a certain balance in anything, you know, whichever thing we do, whether it's work, whether it's sports, whether it's, you know, health and everything. So I really try to keep a certain balance between all these categories. So work is work. Work is very interesting. I love it. You know, I love traveling for work. I love doing my job at the ministry, teaching, doing my emceeings and everything. But when I know that I'm going beyond certain limits where I can't spend time with my children, or the weekends are like, you know, reading scripts and, you know, preparing for what's going to come on Monday. I'm just like, you know, whoa, you know, you have to have that, you know, alarm in your head and say, okay, this is, I have to, you know, take a break. And you have to listen to this little inner voice telling you, oh, okay, now I'm tired. You know, I have to do something just for myself. These are all like little signals. We tend to kind of, you know, bury them and not take into account those little messages, but I think it's very, very important. So everything about balance, and parenting is the same. So
I'm going to ask you more about parenting.
Yeah, well, I mean, parenting between also your spouse and yourself. This is also, you know, the relationship.
So it's important not to ignore the signals, but to really pay attention to what your body is telling you.
Yeah, what your body and what others are giving you. So if my daughter is telling me something, she's giving me a signal that she needs more love, or she needs more attention, and she needs my support or my help, you know. But we're like, wait, okay, I have to do this first and I'll be back to, you know, I'll be. But then we're putting our work first. But when we're with children at home, I really try to, you know, like put my everything aside and just, okay, so what do you need? Okay, she needs my attention now. So what do you want to do? Okay, should we do this? But it's so hard because, you know, we get text message, we get emails, we get, you know, at any time of the day and any time of the night. I mean, I work with friends, so, you know, with jet lags, and, you know, at 3 a.m. I would be on my email and just answering, you know, some random questions, or, you know.
It's tough to really be present with your child.
To be present.
Right? And especially with 3 children.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a husband.
A husband, you have to take care of him too, you know. He's like also another caregiver. So,
Exactly. Right, and Taipei Warren says, great advice. No wonder she's an educator. She's very inspiring. Yes, I'm loving this parenting talk today. But it's time for another song break.
Yes.
And next up on Olivia's playlist are Square by 백예린 and 주저하는 연인들을 위해 For Lovers Who Hesitate by 잔나비.
Yes.
We just heard 잔나비 with 주저하는 연인들을 위해 For Lovers Who Hesitate, and before that was 백예린 with Square. I feel like we have the same taste in music.
Yeah.
I love your playlist.
I love those songs because I often listen to them when I'm driving in the car with my children, dropping them to school. So they kind of memorize all these songs and we sing it together.
That's so chill.
Yes.
And so nice.
It's good for the language too, learning songs.
Oh yeah. Because my baby is only 2 years old, so I listen to 동요, baby songs, Baby Shark, and those songs. All right, let's take a look at some more comments. Claire says today's show is the best, loving all of the useful advice and the positive vibes. Please visit Wonder Hours again, Olivia. Yay! Wahaha says Olivia seems to have such great big sister vibes next to Hyerim.
Well, if I can give you any useful advice, that's my great honor.
Yeah. And if you're just tuning in, I'm joined by media personality and supermom Olivia for this week's Good Vibes Only. So you were telling us about your philosophy as parents, right?
Yeah.
And your best advice, the best advice you could give us would be to find balance.
Yeah, to find the good balance. And so I mentioned it for the children, for yourself, but also towards your spouse. Your spouse needs to have and to find his own space in this environment, in this family. It could be very hectic with 3 children, especially when I'm working abroad and he has to keep them for like a week or 4 or 5 days. Now he's used to it, but when they were a little bit younger, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it was quite challenging.
Must have been.
Yeah, so thank God I had my parents helping out,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's also, it's good to have grandparents,
absolutely.
Not too far away from.
Exactly.
Yes,
they
that's
say it takes a village to raise a child.
It is.
Now I get what that means.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So if you can have that support, we don't have any other support else than my parents. His parents live a little bit further, but we do sometimes ask for help.
Yeah.
But he does most of the. When I'm away, he does almost all the child rearing, tasks. So I communicate with him a lot in terms of like parenting philosophy. And also what was very helpful is to be on the show. I mean, we did several, TV shows related to children. One of the first one was 금쪽 같은 내 새끼 with 오은영 박사님. And actually that was when we kind of settle down on, okay, you should follow my, not my instruction, but my way of teaching, which is more the French education, way, rather than his, So that was when I was like, see, I mean, you listen to me. No. But that's just one of the example. But it just really, truly gave me the confidence that, I was doing the things in the right direction. And this would be the way we should together, raise the children. So we communicated a lot around those kind of things, like for being more, raising them more in a autonomous and independent way, rather than always being, helping them and trying to get everything, done for them. And that's the only way you can raise 3 children. I mean, if you're trying to be the, the perfect mom, always, preparing everything, and you can't raise them, like, I mean, you can, but you have too much stress, so you can't do anything else than just doing parenting. You cannot do work, or other things on the side. So I think I'm more cool on that side. I'm like, children, they have their own lives, and starting from a very 3 or 4, you're doing your stuff, I'm doing my stuff, and when we're together, we're doing it as a family.
Wow.
That's the balance.
So your parenting style is closer to French parenting more than Korean parenting.
Yes. I mean, I mix the two. I take the best out of the two. That's the great benefit of having a double culture. But it's maybe more focused on the French parenting way because I was born and raised in France. So I mean, it's more natural for me to raise them that way. It just goes without thinking. It's just natural. But doing it the Korean way would be like, 이렇게까지, 해야 되나? It's just, like when I see all these mother preparing, like, the 도시락 with the super elaborated, like
characters.
and everything. I was like, wow, 대단하다. I can't do that. I can't do that.
Me too.
It's just pasta, boom, and then tomato sauce, boom, and then one apple, and I don't even slice the apple. I just give it, like that.
알아서 먹어.
But I mean, that's the French tough way, and they're gonna go in, the working for, the later, when they're gonna grow older, and it's gonna be. I mean, it's tough. Life is tough anyways, so the better you learn, when you're earlier, the better it is for you.
I love that. Yeah. I've been really interested in French parenting. So I bought books about it. I've been watching it on YouTube.
Wow, okay.
Because French, they say that French kids, when they're young, they don't throw food, and they sleep through the night when they're like 3 months old. Like, how is that possible? And it seems like French parents are more chill. They have time for themselves. Unlike,
we're more chill because we think that the child should learn on his own. He should, see that, we're not always there for him, and he should figure it out in some ways.
Wow.
But
I love this style.
Yes. Baby, you'll be here soon.
I want to apply French parenting with my children as well.
Yeah.
But in Korea, though, that's challenging.
Yeah, it's quite challenging. Yes.
I've always been interested in French lifestyle and now French parenting. Yeah, so it's very fascinating.
It gives you more space for yourself, as a working mom. If I did not raise my children like this, I would not have been able to do all the things that I am doing now and all the things that I've done. Definitely, that's for sure.
Exactly. All right, well, moving on to the next question, you are an instructor at the Korea National Diplomatic Academy.
Yeah.
So what do you teach there, and how has that been going?
So the KNDA, the Korean National Diplomatic Academy, is under the Foreign Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Korean Foreign Ministry of MOFA, and I'm responsible of the French training section for diplomat candidates. So French, everything related to French, it's kind of my duty. Wow. So whether it's like the curriculum or the teaching, and we do the teachings only in French. So it's not it's teaching French, but it's teaching French and topics in French. So ranging from diplomacy, politics, education, culture, economy. So we have to deal with all these different, topics, and then we teach them in French. We prepare the contents in French for the diplomats. Yes.
For the diplomats.
So I've been working there for 10 years now. Yeah, I entered in 2014. So exactly 10 years.
Wow.
Yes, time flies.
So would that be your main job?
Yes, that's absolutely my main job, yes. And I present myself usually as an instructor at the KNDA, yes.
So I've introduced you as educator, media personality, international MC, model, influencer, and super mom. Did I miss out anything?
I think that's about it. Yes, that's about it. Yes.
You're not doing radio
now.
No. So which role, as a woman of so many hats, which role do you enjoy the most?
Enjoy the most? Wow. I don't think there's a job I enjoy more than another. It's a mix of the two that makes it very interesting, because all these experience, all these work are very, very enriching, So you learn from doing, emceeing, you learn from doing, even now, radio. Every little things that you do, you build up, your experiences. And I think the best job out of everything is just being a mom. It's not I wouldn't say the best job, but the more rewarding job.
Oh, yeah.
As a mother, when you feel all the love that they give you back, it just gives you tears, it's like, so sometimes I wonder, I was like, how did I end up with 3 children, I'm just in my bed, I'm like, I have 3 children, I'm 38, I can't imagine, how did I end up? But then I'm so grateful for that, and thanks to my husband, of course. I think that's like the best job, the not the best job, but really it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah. Now I can start to understand that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to play some more songs off of Olivia's list. So next up is IU and her song Celebrity. And after that, we'll listen to 볼빨간 사춘기 with 여행, travel. We just heard 여행, travel by 볼빨간 사춘기, and before that was Celebrity by IU. So before we let you go, one last question. What are some of your goals and plans for the rest of the year?
Oh, wow. Rest of the year, I mean, it's just time to, we only have like 3 months or 4 months left, right?
It's already September.
So I
Can
would
you
say
believe it?
plans for the next year or in, longer term would be
coming up.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking about writing a book.
About
Yeah,
parenting?
about
Parenting,
maybe
please.
maybe parenting or maybe some other things, but maybe related to well-being or wellness or yeah, I've been thinking about this for quite a long time now, and I think it's time for me to be a writer. I don't know, but to be able to convey my thoughts in a written way. Because, I like being on radio, on TV and everything, but it's always very short and it's not long lasting.
Yeah.
But the book, when it's there, you can just keep it for a long time and come back and read some what's inside. So maybe I'm thinking about it. It's been, kind of thing in my head for a while. So perhaps, yes. Who knows? Maybe I'll be on the show next time with the book.
That would be
be a great, yes,
Yeah.
that would be a dream. Yeah.
And personally, I would love to read your parenting book. I really need some of that. Well, we'll always be supporting you.
Thank
and
you so
always
much.
응원하겠습니다.
저도 응원할게요.
Yes, thank you. All right, it's already time to say goodbye. And thank you so much for coming and for sharing your good vibes with us today.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yes, and please come visit us anytime and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. And we're going to say goodbye to Olivia and also close the show with Yoonha and her song 사건의 지평선, Event Horizon. As always, today's Good Vibes Only will be posted on our YouTube page at youtube.com/@KBS World English. So be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you won't miss anything. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Hyerim with producers Hong Seoryang and Kwon Seoryang and writer Liz. Have a wonderful day and see you tomorrow.